One country runs on 12 different time zones, more than any other nation on Earth. That country is France, not Russia, which manages 11, not the United States, 11 again. France, a republic you can drive across in a day, whose clocks span more than half the planet. First, the ruler. Earth is sliced into hour-wide bands, and every country picks which ones to obey. End to end, the clocks span 26 hours, from -12 on bare Pacific atolls to +14 in Kiribati. For most of every day, the planet holds 2 dates at once. Now, the country everyone answers first. Russia, 9,000 kilometers wide, the largest state on Earth, runs 11 time zones, Kaliningrad to Kamchatka. Moscow once trimmed the count to 9 by decree, then put 2 back. When commuters board the morning metro in Moscow, Kamchatka is already pouring evening tea. 11 zones, and it still isn't the record. The second guess does no better. The United States counts 11. Once its islands are in 4 zones across the mainland, then Alaska, Hawaii, and a scatter of Pacific specks. Among them sits Baker Island, the last place on Earth to finish any given day. 11, though by statute, only 9. So, France. Metropolitan France, the hexagon with Paris in it, occupies exactly 1 time zone. The other 11 belong to leftovers of empire that never left. Islands, atolls, and territories in every ocean on Earth. Drop a pin on each, and the whole clock face fills in. 12 zones, and only one of them is in Europe. Begin the tour as far from Paris as France gets. French Polynesia, Tahiti and its 100 islands, sits at -10. At noon on a winter Monday in Paris, it is 1 in the morning in Papeete, the same Monday, 11 hours behind. And the Marquesas Islands next door run on the half hour, -9:30. Skip across 2 oceans, and France reappears in the Caribbean. Martinique and Guadeloupe tick along at -4. On the South American mainland, French Guiana runs at -3, and from its jungle launch pad at Kourou, Europe fires rockets into orbit. Europe's spaceport is, by common law, a piece of France beside the Amazon. Now, the Indian Ocean. Mayotte, off the African coast, keeps +3. Réunion, east of Madagascar, keeps +4. Together, that's over 1 million French citizens finishing their working day while Paris is still digesting lunch. Same passport, same parliament. A 3-hour head start on France. Push south into the furious latitudes, and France still hasn't run out. The Kerguelen Islands, nicknamed the Desolation Islands by Captain Cook, keep +5. Nobody lives there permanently. A rotating crew of scientists, between 45 and 100 or so, shares the archipelago with penguins and the wind. Official French time, ticking for almost no one. Finish in the Western Pacific. New Caledonia keeps +11. And tiny Wallis and Futuna keeps +12, the first patch of France into every new year. When the champagne opens there at midnight, in Tahiti it is 2 in the morning, the day before. 22 hours separate the 2 ends of one republic. One country, straddling nearly the entire day, which revives a boast the British once owned. With islands in every ocean, there is always, at any minute of any day, sunlight falling on some piece of French territory. The sun never sets on France, no longer as imperial swagger, merely as arithmetic. Now, why any of this matters? Wrap a 200-mile economic zone around every one of those islands, and France controls about 10.2 million square kilometers of ocean, the second largest maritime domain on Earth, behind only the United States. Fish, seabed, cables, minerals. Roughly 97% of it comes from the overseas territories, not from Europe. There's even a 13th zone, waiting on ice. France claims Adélie Land, a frozen wedge of Antarctica, but the Antarctic Treaty suspends every claim down there, so it stays an asterisk. Count it, and France reaches 13. The record books, cautiously, stick to 12. France isn't the only empire still ticking. The United Kingdom counts 9 zones through its own leftovers: Bermuda, Gibraltar, Pitcairn. Australia reaches 8 with its island territories. Denmark holds 4, almost entirely thanks to Greenland. Empires end, their clocks apparently don't. Then there's the opposite philosophy. China is wide enough for 5 geographic zones, and Beijing keeps every province on exactly 1. In far western Xinjiang, the official summer sun can set close to midnight. One clock, one schedule, one capital. Time zones follow politics at least as closely as they follow the sun. The 12 zones even bend French democracy. In national elections, Guadeloupe, Martinique, French Guiana, and Polynesia all vote on a Saturday, a full day before mainland France. Otherwise, their polls would still be open, uselessly, with the result already on the evening news in Paris. So the Republic simply lets its West vote yesterday. So, remember the flip. Russia is the biggest country on any map of land. France, which would fit inside Russia 25 times over, beats it on the clock. 12 zones. 13. Counting the ice. Midnight strikes for France a dozen separate times every night. Land is one way to measure a country. Hours are another. Next time, 14 neighbors, the most bordered country on Earth.